it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're zooming in and focusing in on a great viewer question, and that was to explore a little bit more in depth on why did I stay with the covert narcissist for so long? Why did I numb myself out? Why did I not recognize this? Why did I not see this? And it is really with much love to the Empowered Harmonizers that I want to tackle this topic. Now, when we talk about being involved with a covert narcissist, we are generally talking about people who have a real sense of servitude. They are the serving people, the people who are giving, who have hearts bigger than the size of Texas, who are great listeners, who are adept at putting others first. And when entering into the relationship, oftentimes they feel that it is the sacrifice of their needs that a productive relationship makes. In other words, if I become so altruistic, if I become all listening, if I hollow myself out, if I become as if a nobody, and I suppress these needs, and if I just listen and take on your needs and then take care of them, then this will be a wonderful relationship. And a codependent knows this. In calculating, well, it is yet to be discussed whether this is a deliberate or not, but unequivocally, when you are with a covert narcissist, they will be attracted to and exploit and take advantage of those people who are of this ilk, who are of this fabric, who are of this type, who are become very servitude in nature. In other words, all giving of themselves to the point of really giving up their voice, giving up their needs, giving up their I am, giving up their I feel, giving up their I want, and instead this is replaced with the needs, wants, dreams, desires of the covert narcissist. And then if this person is extremely passive in giving to you, you'll find that your life is on a very much of a plateau, and you become very passive as such. In other words, you aren't listening and developing your own inner voice. You're not able to listen to and know that little voice that perhaps which is very gentle. If you're a good listener, it becomes very gently, and it gives you that little impetus of, why don't you do this, or why don't you do that? Why don't you seek this as friends? In other words, it becomes so lost or so faint that one cannot follow up on it without a feeling of guilt or being stifled or acting on self-limiting beliefs. In other words, I can't have a friend without. I can't pursue this education without. I can't pursue this interest without. In other words, there's a real strong holding back or suppression of their inner instinct, their inner I am, without feeling this overwhelming sense of guilt. And that really then it's like a sense of denial. I cannot believe this is happening, and you just let it go. In other words, it's happening. It gets to the point then where it's happening right in front of your face, and you cannot even speak a word. The alcoholic is going down to the cabinet in the basement. You hear the old wood doors open and shut, and you know that they're drinking themselves 3 fingers of whiskey, or you know they're going down and doing pornography, or you know that they're down and doing drugs, or they're out in the garage making phone calls. And it becomes to the point where it just becomes part of your existence, and you cannot put your foot down and you cannot confront. You become frozen in this fear. It's a very sort of strange psychological taking over, where the fear becomes so chronic and it becomes so pervasive that it's like your everyday existence, and it's like a walking on eggshells, but you can't even recognize it. You can't even see it. Whereas others could say, come in and go, oh my God, I'm taking you out of here. It's like the Cinderella who doesn't ever get a chance to see the good life because she's stuck in the basement, and all the greedy stepsisters are taking all the men or taking all the fabric or going to all the dates until, she's just got, this one magic slipper, which is then going to reclaim her and bring her into her glory. It's very much like that experience with a covert narcissist. It is like the Cinderella story where you are trapped for so long you cannot even see your own magnificence or beauty as a person. You cannot even feel it. You cannot even have the affection, the attention, because it's been so denied or drilled away from you that you can't even reclaim your own needs. So it is, again, part of the structure, really, of the abuse. And it's like a repetition, compulsion, where you feel repeated or compulsive denial. In other words, this is not happening. This sex on the side is not happening. This drinking on the side, this is not happening. Everybody just ignores it. It becomes, this adaptation, but yet it is really to your own demise. You ultimately, have to go away quietly or just, end the abuse. And the silent abuses are, the worst. And then if you become into really kind of the over listening type, in other words, where you are one to listen too much to others rather than listening to yourself, you need to get a balance. Balance is very important because especially those people who are coming through a covert narcissist relationship, and their blueprint is still, well, if I listen to others, if I do what others want, if I dress like others want, if I laugh like they want, if I develop this imposter personality, then eventually I'll have these relationships. And my answer to you is unequivocally no. You need to break that matrix. You need to break that design. It is, you do not have to become an imposter. You do not have to over-listen to others, over-obligate to others, where you're giving all your best things away. Clients who give so much and then they have nothing for themselves. They're giving the best this, the best that, giving the best years of their life, giving the best times of their life, giving their best energy to, throwing your pearls at swine. In other words, giving it to someplace where it's not being reciprocated, but they cannot see it. They're blind, really in a filter where it's really like a Helen Keller moment where, all of a sudden where, someone is putting sign language, spelling out water into your hand while you're feeling the water. You almost have this very deep, profound moment like, I have to go. I am getting it now. Everything is coming together. And that book was always so inspiring to me, of Helen Keller, and how this woman who was blind, she had no vision, she could not hear, she could not talk, yet she was one of the greatest orators of her time. I mean, oh my God, OMG, if you can overcome blindness and deafness and become an amazing communicator, there is a testimony to the human will and the great side of humanity. Go and look at the Sistine Chapel. Go listen to Beethoven. Go listen to some of the great works of these people who had these tremendous learning deficits or learning disabilities or handicaps and how they overcame. Can you not get like a little flicker of excitement that there's something in store for you, that oftentimes it is because of your really receptive, sensitive side, that now is your greatest gift. And the whole tragedy with a covert narcissist is that you are meant to defile that very gift, which is your spark, which is oftentimes your talent, your greatest asset. It's made to seem like a weakness, or perverted or exploited. So do not allow that to make you to feel weak. Realize that is your strength. That is your personal power. That is what makes you you, and that's what's going to make you shine, and not to be embarrassed or shamed or humiliated for your talent. It's like those people who are at a covert, who have been in a covert relationship, and they're so ashamed to go out and meet people because they're afraid what somebody's going to find out. And oftentimes it's the fact that you have deprived yourself of so much, and you're so ashamed of what you've allowed this person to impact you in your life that you feel like you have to hold yourself back, or the social anxieties. So you need to practice the balance. In other words, that I'm speaking and I'm listening, that I'm passive and I'm doing, and I'm working on my self-expression, and then and then incorporating and adapting that. In other words, then taking it to the next level. My self-expression makes me want to go or follow up and teach, or go ahead and have a relationship, or go ahead and go there. In other words, take it then to that next level. Realize where your self-expression is wanting to draw you. What are you naturally drawn to? And realize, get that balance going. As we talk about in so many of our videos, you need to develop that balance in relationships and allow yourself to receive as well as take. So it's really that awakening of yourself, and then saying, okay, now it's time for me to practice my self-expression. Now it's time for me to talk. Now it's time for me to listen, but I'm not going to over-obligate, over-listen, take on too much of someone's problems. I can process it and give back. Or I can find myself attracted to healthy people, so I can then absorb some of that healthy energy and learn how they have adapted and what they've done in their life and how they've pursued and gotten to where they are. And I can learn something. And having a crystal clear understanding and clear vision of what out of balance looks like. What does out of balance look like for you? If you've stayed in an abusive relationship for too long, were you sulking in the corner? Were you shut into a room? Were you taught to disbelieve your eyes? Were you taught that you could not make it financially? What did you take away from that and get a crystal clear understanding of what that meant for you? And do not, with complete courage, understand what that is, because that is the key to set you free. It is your key and no one else's. You must take honor and privilege with that key, and to know that that's going to unlock your freedom, and that you never ever have to go backwards again. Once you reclaim that key, you know that your vision is moving forward, because you're able to see clearly and process what the out of balance look like, so you do not tolerate that again. You up and move, your body has learned it, boom, you're out of there, you're gone, your feet are walking, you're picking up your things, or you're throwing away what is no longer serving you, you're detaching yourself from people who no longer serving you, you do not feel bad, kiss you goodbye, off to let you go, on to the rest of life you go. I am now getting comfortable with receiving, and my I am defined by the positive, and listening to that guidance, which is to come from within you, and the ability to say no. And this is going to take you a journey in a while, where some people in the beginning, you might feel uncomfortable saying no, but it is okay. Eventually, sometimes people say no when the covert narcissist says, it's okay to say no. Imagine the covert narcissist saying, it's okay to say no. Get comfortable with saying no, drawing a line, declining a boundary. That's okay, I deserve better. That's okay, I want more. That's okay, I am more. That's okay, I'm moving to a new community. That is okay, I am fine. And I'm not going to worry about you. That's not my goal in life. That is not my, God-bestowed mission, is to worry about others. In fact, worry becomes one of the most worthless emotions you can have. In terms of adding to your personal value, in your value in life, what you give and receive, worry is the one thing that's going to plague you. And oftentimes, it's that worry which has kept you blind. So be liberated to walk away from the worry, and take your phone, take your mind's eye, and take a picture, and so you clearly know what worry looks like and what faith looks like, what denial looks like and what confidence feels like, what lack of belief looks like and what positive belief looks like. Get a sense of a before and after very clearly in your mind. Take pictures of what your, when I was over listening, taking on too much of the negativity, those thoughts that were memorized or rehearsed, that this is what I had to do to a whole relationship make. Realizing that that was erroneous thinking. I'm no longer habituated along that. And then what does positive look like? Is it me taking care of myself? I'm getting better groceries. I'm lighting candles. I'm getting books. I'm meeting people, and I'm getting a support network of people who are on the healthy side versus the negative and exploitative side. And I'm getting comfortable with that. And then the verbiage, how my verbiage changes. My sense of I am changes. You begin to alchemize and then transform and transmute this negative to the point where you can then see it for what it is. I see the negative now. I can clearly see it. I see what they were doing. I see how criminal that was. I see how neglectful that was. I can now name it for what it is. And I have the boldness and courage. All those positives, begin to get yourself images of what boldness, courage, faith, looks like for you. Go out and, on your recovery date, that might be a great idea, is to take half an hour, 1 hour of your recovery date and say, I'm going to go and search the marketplace or nature or my neighborhood or my community or some neighborhood, down the road, and I'm going to search and find for images that are uplifting and give me that feeling of faith, confidence, and glory, and I am. Take those pictures. You might see a beautiful picture through your own windshield of your car where, your eyes, your glass is maybe misted over, and then it creates a beautiful misty picture of a tree. And then you snap that picture and you have captured that moment. Or it might have been a beautiful dish that you made that you take a picture of that reminds you of that faith in yourself, or a place where you're guided to go and just explore and just take in. You might not have to buy anything, but you can just go and explore. A bookstore, a sewing shop, an equestrian, you might go to a horse rodeo, or you might go to see some horses, or you might go riding horses, or just to pet them or to hug them. You might find this very therapeutic. You might find this really builds your I am. You might get a bike. You might get a motorcycle. Whatever it is, get rid of that negativity which hounded in the denial, and reinforce and surround yourself with a positive that reinforces the positive I am, and you'll see a tremendous vocabulary change, emotion change, and countenance to your face, but then energy within your body, where you become in a very relaxed body, but a very energetic body, where you are at peace and you're comfortable and you're no longer in that fear or denial that was instilled by a covert narcissist relationship. It is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.